reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. So I was just lucky enough to sit through the wonderful sneak peek of the upcoming content at the Guild Wars 2 anniversary event. I also managed to wrestle a couple of people in front of the camera. We cleaned them up a little bit afterwards because there were bruises involved, but it's okay. We did it all for you. And we're going to sit here and we're going to chat a little bit more about what's coming up in Guild Wars 2. So can you each take a second and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Mike Zadorojny, one of the design leads working on Guild Wars 2.
And I'm Crystal Reid, and I'm one of the game designers.
Awesome. So we just saw a great sneak peek at the content that's coming up. That looked like a lot of fun. Now, what made you decide to go back to that content and give it an update, give it a little bit of cleaning up?
So one of the big things with this Living World strategy is we wanted to tell cool stories. We wanted to change the shape of the world, and we wanted to build content that allowed us to go back and revisit some of these things that, you know, we wanted these giant bosses to be epic moments where players were coming together and, you know, really using amazing strategies, and it didn't really pan out that way. So this Living World strategy allows us to go back and look at these. Tequatl is one of those guys where people would just like stand behind his right foot and just beat him down, and it wasn't interesting. And so we basically asked Crystal, hey, can you step up to this and see what we can do? And, you know, 4 months later, now you're seeing what she was able to put together. So
are you looking at doing this for upcoming bosses, you know, for current bosses in the world right now and giving them that same treatment?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that we're definitely seeing a lot more of this high-level coordination between players in the maps, especially with the recent Clockwork Chaos invasion. And players are really working together, and this type of stuff is what they want to do. So it's just Tequatl is just where we're going to start. But from there, yes, we do have plans to go back and address some of these other ones as well.
So will Tequatl keep the same respawn timer that he's had in the past, or are you changing that up a little bit as well?
We've made a couple adjustments on that just to make it a little more friendlier. So, like, if he comes up and a bunch of people get kicked to an overflow, that it's not like, okay, now you got to wait a significant amount of time associated with it. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. We're working on some tech on the back end, but we definitely want to make sure that it's a very friendly experience for players coming in. And let's just say we've learned a lot from the invasions. So.
So when you go in with Tequatl, where do you like to situate yourself in all that wonderful chaos that's happening? Where do you like to go?
When I play the event, I mean, I like to be on his, you know, I like to stand around his feet, and I do a lot of ranged attacks. But the spawns that arrive, they're on timer, so a lot of times I'll watch the timer and I'll peel off to help. I think a tidal wave may have just wiped out the party playing. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go pull off and I'll assist in defense on the players who are guarding the turrets and keep those guys safe for a while, and then I'll move back in to go fight Tequatl.
Awesome. And what do you like to do when you go into that new event?
I'm one of those people who's right in the thick of things, so I'm going to be right up in his face, doing as much damage as I can, trying to get people grouped around me so that we can get the turrets, you know, buffing us as a coordinated group, and just unloading on him as fast as I can.
See, I play warrior as my main class, and so I'm right up there as well. And
make sure you jump.
Well, and it's going to look very, very interesting to have my tiny little Asura up against Tequatl. It's going to be quite the visual. So that was some great content there that we saw. What can we look forward to in the current storyline that's happening now? Are we going to wrap things up nice and tidy in the next little bit, or are we going to be seeing Scarlet, you know, come Christmas time?
Well,
who's taking that one?
We don't really want to spoil it. We have a big plan for this, and we're moving right along on that. We're going to keep things entertained for a while.
Awesome. So the living story, I mean, you went through this change just a little while ago, you know, a couple months ago, where you decided, you know what, 2 weeks and 2 weeks and that's what we're going. Internally, that reorganization, I mean, it must have caused some chaos for a little while. Have things started to settle now? Are you finding that, you know, everybody kind of understands their role in the great big machinery that's putting out the updates?
Well, it's always a process. We took the level of iteration that we do in from a game design perspective, and we did that at the company level as well. So we're always looking at what processes do we have, what can we do better, what can make it easier for other teams that are rolling out. So we're always looking at this and making tiny improvements to make it so that, we don't have this kind of chaotic nature that might seem when you're talking about doing a 2-week strategy. So things are always getting better. We're always getting faster at these things, and we're getting new systems online every day to kind of help us with this effort. So.
Now, one of the things that I'm really excited about, because I have an incredibly odd play schedule. You know, I have a day job, I have 4 kids, so I find time to play when I can play, and that's not always when my guild can play. So I'm really excited about the Looking for Group tool. I think it's going to increase my ability to jump into the dungeons and see all of the content that I've been missing. How soon do you think you're going to be getting more information about the Looking for Group tool out? Is that, you know, something that's coming out really, really shortly, or are you looking longer term?
I don't know if I can say that. I think stay tuned. I mean, it's very.
So before we end things off here, I have to ask. I know I love my little Asura warrior. He's fantastic. I know he feels like he's 6 foot tall a lot, and I'm wondering what is your favorite race class combination, and what is each of your favorite things to do when you get into game?
So I play an Asura thief.
Good call.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just a lot of fun. You know, favorite thing to do in the game is pretty much whatever my guild is doing when I log on. Sometimes it's Fractal Night, sometimes it's, you know, running the dungeons, you know, running through open world content. One of the fun things I'll do occasionally is I'll just kind of jump in, see if somebody needs a random 5th person to join a group, wait till the end of the dungeon run, throw up my ANET tag, and, you know, kind of get some feedback from them, and that's always fun.
Awesome, and what about you?
I play a human warrior, not as fun as the Asura. I'm sorry.
You know, you each have it happen.
My real life height. I can't play an Asura in the game. You know, I actually like playing a lot of alts too, so I've been running through that, and I'm really into the map completion, so I like going into the map and like making sure I complete that. Like, I can't leave the map till it's done. It has to get done.
Yeah, I just saw the infographic that you put out, and it showed the amount of the percentage of people who played each of the classes. And since I saw that Mesmer was right at the very bottom, I've been obsessed with my Mesmer. I don't know why, just because it's a lot of fun to play, though. Exactly. That we do. So thank you so much for putting on that great presentation and for taking the time to speak to me today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
See you guys in game.